a woman came in and said, I can see so much energy on Facebook. I want to be part of this. And I knew then that we had a little magic momentum going on, and that needed to be the name of the book. But I just knew then I would write a book, and it would be called Attract, Don't Recruit. It would be all about infusing energy and making sure that people that ran chambers knew that they are the energy. They are responsible for managing up and managing down. They are the energy for their entire organization.
This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our guest for this episode is Christine Cribb, and after a decade in the chamber world, where she led the largest chamber per capita in the entire state of Washington, Christine brought her signature spark and unstoppable energy to a chamber in the foothills of North Carolina. Last year, she made a bold move and stepped away from an industry she deeply loves and stepped into what's next. Christine went back to school to earn her executive presence certification from Cornell University, launched her own boutique PR and strategy firm, Christine Cribb and Company, and poured her heart and experience into writing her powerful first book, Attract, Don't Recruit, a fresh relationship-driven roadmap for chambers and nonprofits who want to grow with purpose and energy. These days, she's all about living fully and leading boldly by helping organizations connect with passion while soaking up every moment with her 3 amazing grandbabies. Christine brings energy, authenticity, and heart to every stage, every project, and every conversation. Get ready, because Christine shows up with energy and the room shifts when she arrives. So, Christine, I'm happy to have you with us again here on Chamber Chat Podcast. For those who are regular listeners, she was with us in episode 270, if you wanted to go back and listen to that. Go ahead and say hello to all the chamber champions out there listening. And I always like to get the interesting fact about you.
An interesting fact. Wonderful. Hello, Chamber Champions. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Brandon, for allowing me to come back on. An interesting fact about me would probably be that I spent 2020 during COVID in Italy. And I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me because I drank lots of wine. I learned how to cook authentically, and it was probably the best adult timeout I had ever had. So there's an interesting fact about me.
It's a good food there. I haven't been there, but I'm a fan of Italian food. So how long were you there in 2020?
I was there for an entire year. So we were there when January, when it closed down in February. And then when the airports opened back up, I came home and did a nationwide search to go back into chamber world. I really thought that there was no better time for chambers to be engaged and active in supporting small business than coming out of COVID, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about your new venture, your new PR firm and the endeavors that you're embarking on these days.
Sure. So I left the chamber last fall, just about this time of year. I left the chamber. I visited with family all over the country, and I was able to be present in my children and my grandchildren's lives, which was really incredible. As everyone knows in chamber world, you're balancing 27 plates. And even though you're visiting someone, you're thinking of something else that should be done or needs to be done. Or did I tell somebody that? And so I was completely present. I came back, did go to school. I went back to Cornell University and got an executive presence certification. And then I started my own. So I wrote my book January and February. I wrote my first draft and then started that entire process, which is phenomenal for anyone that wants to write a book. It's just a great process of putting so much knowledge and story that you have to share that hopefully you make a difference to one person is incredible. So I wrote my book. I went back to school. I started a little PR firm because I still have a great desire to help small businesses and businesses grow. And so instead of representing 600 members, I represent six businesses that I can help put decision makers in front of them I can give them exposure, public relations. It's just delightful. It's just a wonderful hands-on. I'm in charge of my own schedule. Don't be envious, chamber champions, but I'm in charge of my own schedule and I love the work so much. I still am absolutely passionate about helping businesses succeed.
Yeah, and in this stage, you don't have a board to report to or anything like that. So you've got a lot more freedom for sure.
No board.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard of the book writing process as being phenomenal from somebody. So you must have done something magical with the book. And a lot of other people talk about, how strenuous it is and what a labor of love, those kind of descriptions. So I'm excited to learn about the book too.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
I just wanted to share that I thought I wanted to write a book. I wasn't as secure in it until I did the research and realized that I had a story to tell and somebody will benefit from this story. And when I put it out to beta readers, the nicest compliment was, we can hear your voice. I can hear that people could hear my voice in my words. And I thought, I'm going to share it. I am not a literary virtuoso by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a Midwest girl. I speak in run on sentences. I speak way too fast. And I'm in the foothills of North Carolina. So know that my editor constantly was slashing run on sentence, stop it, slow down. So anyway, I did enjoy the process and it's my first of many books, I think. So I guess I enjoyed it where other people might have found it to be a challenge. I enjoyed it.
that's great. Yeah. And other people say, I'll never write another book again. And you're just saying it's first of many. It's great. So we'll spend most of our conversation today talking about the theme of your book is attract. Well, it's the title, but it's the theme that we'll carry on for this podcast is attract, don't recruit. And the importance of that when you look at it through a chamber lens, through an organization, a membership organization lens, I think it's a great idea, a great concept, and great principles that we'll dive into as soon as we get back from this quick break.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rose.
And we're the founders of At My Community, a mobile app that can be customized to meet the unique needs of your Chamber of Commerce.
When we started At My Community, we envisioned a tool that would help communities thrive by simplifying communication and enhancing engagement. Chambers of Commerce face unique challenges, and we're here to help you tackle them.
At My Community helps the Evergreen Area Chamber of Commerce to create an app that keeps tourists informed even when their office is closed. They provide 24/7 access to local business information, which helps support the local economy and community engagement.
In Rocky Mountain House, we helped Rocky Chamber create an app with dynamic itineraries and digital resources for tourists, increasing local business engagement. The app has become an essential tool for the community, promoting events and boosting visibility for local merchants.
Today, we empower more than 200 chambers of commerce, campgrounds, and RV resorts to streamline communication, informing members about events, sharing business updates, and providing a digital hub for the community, all in one convenient app.
When you partner with At My Community, our team works closely with you to create an app that meets your chamber's unique needs. As your community grows, our app evolves with you. We are here to ensure you engage effectively with your members and streamline your operations.
Schedule a demo today at atmycommunity.com.
We can't wait to meet you.
Are you ready to take your organization's funding to the next level? Hi, I'm Clint Neesmith, CEO of Resource Development Group. As a Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Organization leader, I know you understand the value of working with experts who understand your world. And that's exactly what RDG does best. For over 30 years, RDG has specialized in fundraising for EDOs and chambers. We bring cutting-edge strategies tailored to your organization, whether you're just starting out or gearing up for yet another new funding cycle. Importantly, our firm executives are hands-on from start to finish, from the feasibility study to the successful conclusion of your fundraising campaign. And our team brings deep industry roots and national expertise to every engagement. No matter the size of your community, RDG delivers data-driven, innovative revenue solutions, reinforcing ROI to investors and making sure your vision becomes reality. At RDG, we proudly build organizations that build communities. Visit us today at rdgfundraising.com and let us partner with you building a stronger future for your organization and the community you are working to grow and develop.
All right, Christine, we are back. So, as I mentioned before the break, we're talking about Attract, Don't Recruit. So, this is the title of your book, but tell us about how that title came to be, how that became the focus for your first book, and what some of those
Sure.
lessons are that you share.
Super. Thank you so much for asking. So, Attract, Don't Recruit came to me when I was coaching a membership position at my second chamber. I was coaching her and she said, "Oh, so and so's not a member. I want to go get them and pitch them." And I said, what's interesting is that we doubled the chamber numbers in Cleveland County. And I never, ever knocked on a door, handed a card, said, "You're not a chamber member. Come and visit me." We created energy and momentum that people leaned in and they came in, and one by one we met. Every single one of them met with me. They felt the benefits, they could see it and feel it, and they wanted to be part of it. The best example why I knew this was Attract, Don't Recruit had to be the title, Brandon, is because in about my second year at this chamber, a woman came in and said, "I can see so much energy on Facebook. I want to be part of this." And I knew then that we had a little magic momentum going on, and that needed to be the name of the book. Of course, I didn't even know when I would be stepping down and retiring then, but I just knew then I would write a book and it would be called Attract, Don't Recruit. It would be all about infusing energy and making sure that people that ran chambers knew that they are the energy. They are responsible for managing up and managing down. They are the energy for their entire organization. So that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the concept of how it got the title. And then it just evolved after that. I would think of a topic like one of the most popular chapters right now that I'm getting feedback from is knowing your why. Everyone talks about that. You really need to dive into why you do what you do, and it empowers you to feel so much more authentic and convincing when you're talking to someone, when you understand your why. The other chapter that's getting a lot of attention is the risky business, I call it. And it's about taking risks. If you stay in the same mode you're in, you will be in the same spot you're in 2 years from now. But if you take a risk and do something you've never done before, and in the book, I share great risk takings. I have a couple really funny stories. And then I share some failures. Like I completely bombed on something and it's okay because at least I took the risk in doing it.
Yeah, I like that. And with highlighting those two chapters, the why, understanding your why is going to give you that drive, that motivation to create that energy that you're talking about, but also the risky business aspect. I'm sure there's precautions, there's things you need to look at so you're not just being, totally flagrant with what you're doing. But the risky business, when you do something that's exciting, it's going to build that excitement. It's going to draw that attraction. Is there more that you can talk on those two topics and building the energy around those ideas?
Absolutely. The risky business, most importantly, is that it's strategic, obviously, and well vetted. I'll share one really funny story. I was asked by a local community college to do a TV show and on Chamber World and small business. And so I went to my advisory committee, who is our board members. They're the group that hired me, and I wanted them to stay involved, and I created an advisory committee. So the chairman of the board said, let's go drink some bourbon. We'll have some bourbon brainstorming going on to discuss this. Well, I'm not a bourbon drinker. So the host was about 4 doors down from where I live in my neighborhood, went to the bourbon brainstorm meeting. In 5 minutes, we decided that this TV show was not in our lane. We were not going to do it. And I agreed with that, but I just wanted it really once again, well vetted to take a risk of my time and energy, right? And so I did drink my first old fashioned, and I
Okay.
probably drank 2 of them. I then took something out of a jar and ate it and said, "This is the best grape I have ever tasted." And one of the men at the meeting said, "Should we let her know that that is a bourbon soaked cherry?" So that tells you that I was enjoying that old fashioned. On the way home, it was this time of year. On the way home, I was kicking the leaves, walking home, and I had the brainstorm idea that we needed those gentlemen loved their bourbon. We needed to have a gentleman's bourbon dinner. And we were looking for a way to raise capital funds to take care of the building. So within 24 hours, I was creating a gentleman's bourbon dinner, tasting and dinner. I secured everything, secured a sponsor, started to pull it together, pitched the board and said, let's just try it. If it fails, it fails. But let's try it because of what I saw resonating with how much these gentlemen love their bourbon. So sure enough, we did it. I think it's still in place now at the chamber and might be its 4th year that it's happened. But it's taken a risk. I mean, we were adding alcohol in the Bible Belt in the foothills of North Carolina. And it was a huge success. We raised a lot of money, started the renovations on the building. It was fabulous.
Yeah. I
But
think
that's one example.
I think last time you were on the show, we actually recorded the day after you had your bourbon event.
That's great.
It
That's
does.
great. Was it the
Yeah,
first one? Was it?
I
I think it
believe
was.
so. I believe
Oh
so.
my gosh.
So
That is
I
great.
remember
So
the energy coming from that. So yeah.
yes, that is the one story that's in the book. The other story share a failure also because everybody needs to take a risk of failing for sure.
Yes.
Coming out of COVID, there were so many positions that were open, Brandon, that businesses needed employees. And so I thought, well, we'll have a Friday career cafe. We'll open up the chamber. We'll have businesses set up little tables. We'll have people come in that want to work, that are seeking jobs. Well, we had businesses want to come in and they did great. They sat there, they visited with each other, they networked, and we had tricklings of people coming in interested in looking for a job. And what that told me was that our lane was not in the people looking for work. We did not work well in bringing those people in. We needed to leave that to the people that do that. NC Works. We needed to leave that to the groups that are part of unemployment and helping people get jobs and partner with them. We didn't need to do something solo. So we tried it for 3 months and it was not successful. And I was okay with that. At least we tried it. And then we were able to partner with other organizations to help fill some of these positions for businesses. But we took a chance.
Yeah. So I think, and I like that example. It makes me think about even from the employer standpoint, when you interact with businesses or for those listening with your member businesses, the practice of attracting and not recruiting is beneficial even when in the hiring process when they are looking to bring on employees. I see this firsthand right now. My wife is applying for jobs and stuff, and it's tough when some of these businesses are not trying to attract. They're doing more of the recruiting style instead of showing how
Right.
attractive they are and drawing people to them. And then they have the same problems all the time of we just don't have enough people, or we can't retain
Mm.
people because they're not attracting. So I think there's parallels from the membership organization to the employer standpoint as well. But it looks like you have an idea to expand
Absolutely.
on.
Absolutely, I do. Because when you're applying for a job, you want to know also what's in it for me. Your wife wants to know, what are you offering me, not just what you need. I need you to, and the old job description is not enticing anymore, right? And we just want to know, is there family flexibility? Is there, what are the perks of working for you, not just hone in on what do you need. I think that's really important. And I think there's businesses that are definitely shifting to that because they want to attract the right people, not just fill a position, right? And then not as much with seeking employment, but with the membership aspect, it's all about relationship building, right? It's about making somebody feel so incredibly valuable in your organization that they want to be part of it. We worked really hard on, and it's in the book of we tried never to say the word no. If someone asked for something, and everyone in Chamber Champions, people ask for things all the time. When someone would say, do you know what the chamber should do? I would think, wait, Am I sitting back eating bonbons? I don't think so, right? You know what the chamber should do? Anyway, I think that relationship building, I lost my train of thought there because that was so funny to me. I
Right.
remember
Yeah.
people saying that, but it's all about relationship building for sure.
But you talked
Cultivating
about not never
relationship with
saying
people
no,
wanting
right?
when we never said no. So we had a list of things that we don't do, Brandon. We didn't say, we can't do that. That's not our job. If somebody said, can I pay my electric bill here? Well, obviously you cannot pay your electric bill at the Chamber of Commerce. But instead of just saying no, our front desk gal, the administrative assistant, Catherine, would walk the person out the front door, share with them going down to City Hall. They could pay their city bill right down one block down, take a left. It's right there. She would try to over deliver. She would not just simply say the word, no, we don't do that. And then I had something called, can I say a bad word?
Sure. We'll
Okay. I
clean it up if we
said,
need to.
clean it up if you need to, but we would have something in an email. People are so busy and they have so many emails. I would tell staff, just deliver a sandwich, deliver a really nice opening, be a nice, warm, hello, thank you so much for the email. Then get to the point without saying the word no, you're dreaming. We can never do that. We're a Chamber of Commerce. Deliver what you can do, not what you can't, and then end it very, very positively. So I better come up with a new name for that. But that was a philosophy also. No negative words, never saying anything ill about your board, somebody else, your employees, your members, just keeping it so genuinely positive that once you're in the habit of not doing that, it's like a piece of cake. Yeah. And that infuses energy by staying positive all the time. Yeah.
And you'd rather have a cake than one of those sandwiches.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I also had a really special moment on I have a chapter called Train and Trust. And in that chapter, I share a story about someone who'd worked for me that had been in Chamber World for 11 years. And I took her to the first Chamber conference, her first. And when she came back, she bloomed in such a beautiful, incredible, empowering way, giving her some tools that she was able to go someplace for 3 days and speak the language of Chamber World. Taking not only leaders and board members need to go to those, but when you bring your staff to an event like that, they feel so empowered when they get home. And she bloomed. She was already phenomenal, but she even bloomed even more so. So that empowerment, the train them, give them the training, and then trust them to do their job
Yeah.
is really great.
I love that. So, from a membership perspective, does the train and trust, does it have applications there as well when you're trying to attract rather than recruit?
Absolutely. So two things happened that taught me about this. The first was at my first chamber, and a really great supporter and mentor of mine, Dan Ollis from Would Be Coffee, he came in and said, your structure is wrong. You have a membership coordinator, but you are on top of her all the time and wanting to make sure that every new member meets with you. Why don't you make her events coordinator and you just take membership, because these people are coming in the door and they want to talk to you. So we actually changed the structure. Then when I got to North Carolina, there were only two of us at the time. So I absolutely met with every single new member. When we were able to grow, we hired a membership coordinator. And that is when I started to share that attract, don't recruit. They're walking in the door. Our job is to give, not just sign that person up, but cultivate that relationship that makes them feel like they belong. You don't need to be out on the street knocking on doors to people that don't know what the chamber is. Let the domino effect, the energy in which you're projecting, let that trickle down through your ambassadors, through your board, through your brand new members that just thank you. They thank you for these benefits, and they walk out the door and they tell other people and they walk in the door. And it doesn't happen overnight. We were coming out of COVID. I think on that first podcast I did, I shared that we were coming out of COVID. We had 14 events and that year coming out of COVID. And within 2 years, we had 149. I mean, we just set things on fire, whether it was a ribbon cutting once a week, whether it was adding more events like the bourbon event and some other events that we did too. And so it takes a little while, but it absolutely is worth the stop trying to beg people to join your Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. Yeah, be attractive. Is there another key point or two that you want to draw out from the book before we wrap things
Well,
up?
sure. One thing is, oh, there's so many cool things to share.
I
But
know
one
it.
is to make sure that one chapter is a refueling station, that you make sure you take time to take care of yourself. That is more critical than ever because that work is never ending. And I'm well aware of that. When I could step back and be completely present in my children's lives, I didn't know that I was doing exactly what I told people not to do, which was just drinking from a fire hose, even though I thought I had it all together. The other thing is key performing indicators. When you start to brainstorm and take a risk, when you have key performing indicators that are valuable, not just the board wants to know how many members and how much money we have, use really good quality key performing indicators to help you determine your risk taking and the decisions that you make down the road. And then there's a whole chapter on time management because I tried every single one of them. There's like 14 different tactics to manage your time. I've tried everyone. I've merged them. I've said this is never going to work for me, but there's some great tools in there. And mostly it's about really being the energy behind your chamber. I have a hashtag called room shifter. Like be a room shifter. When you walk in a room, people should light up. You should be able to attract the energy. If you walk in a room and nobody's walking up to talk to you, you need to put a smile on your face and you need to start walking up to them and shaking hands and working the room. That's not even beginning. There's 23 chapters, Brandon.
Right? Just hitting a few of the highlights, right? But I love
Yes,
the idea
yes,
about being a room shifter because there should be an energy change. And if there's not, like you should take the energy you have and then go find those others that need to and either have an infusion of that energy or just connect with that energy or whatever it may be. But it should change the
yes,
tone of that room and show
absolutely.
that what you're doing matters, right?
Yes. I also told people that if you're not a networker, just come alongside me during an event. And before you know it, you will be paired off with somebody that you had never met before.
Great
And if
idea.
you yourself as a leader are not a networker, go find one. Go find one and learn how to do it. Really know how to work a room. You should light up that room when you walk into it. Yep.
Yeah, I love that idea. Christine, this has been great. You've hit on a lot of great ideas and topics and points from the book. I wanted to ask you for the chamber champion listening who's wanting to take their organization up to the next level. What kind of tip or action item would you leave for them as they try to accomplish that goal?
I would like to tell them to start living like you're a legend. Start energizing people, rooms, over deliver in being authentic, but your energy, your positive energy shifts people, shifts rooms, shifts organizations. We all know the toolkit. We all have the rule. We've all read the books. We know how to run a chamber. What you have to have is that authentic, genuine energy that takes it to the next level.
I love that. It's a great tip. So
Good,
I
good, good,
know
good.
I know I had asked you this question when you were on the show before, but I like asking everybody for their current perspective. As we look to the future of chambers of commerce, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
I love it. I will look back and see what my answer was a couple years ago when I was here because it has changed. So when I wrote the book and I did some research on chambers throughout American history, what happened every decade was that chambers would shift their priorities across the country. They would shift what the priorities were depending on what was going on during that time. So I believe chambers will thrive and survive. Absolutely. I feel like they have to do it being open and willing to change and do things differently than they've ever done it before. For example, obviously during COVID, chamber was a huge part of workforce and knowing what was going on. The other thing would have been I would tell chambers to be a change agent. Be the change agent. If the future is AI, get on AI. Figure out what it is, offer classes, make sure that you learn everything that you can about it. If something's going on in your county, get a seat at the table that lets you take the lead in being a change agent.
Yeah. Being able to just sit back and see the change happen is not going to serve your organization well. It's not going to serve you as a
No,
leader well. You need to be that agent driving the change, recognizing where the future is going, and be
absolutely.
seen as that thought leader and that change agent. It's ahead of the pack.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like that's phenomenal. That's the deal maker is being able to get a seat at the table to be part of what's coming next because there's always something coming next. You can't sit still for 3, 5, 10 years and think that you're not going to have some changes going on that you need to be a major part of.
That's
Yeah.
right. Um,
Now you make me want to go back and look at my first
that's
video
right.
chat with you.
Find your
I will
your
look at that
original answer.
podcast for sure.
Well, Christine, now the important question is for those listening who want to connect with you and learn more about Attract, Don't Recruit, or where to pick up the book or connect with you, where would you point them, and
Thank
what
you.
would be the best ways to connect?
Thank you so much. So you can purchase the book through Amazon. The name of the book is Attract, Don't Recruit by Christine Cribb. You can also reach out on Facebook in any time. I have a workbook coming out that's going to be a companion workbook to the book, which will be great for directors, presidents of chambers. It'll be great for board of directors and for staff. The workbook will have how to work your why, really understanding your purpose and how to organize. The time management aspect is in the workbook. That'll be out by the end of December. So Facebook, but you can also reach me on my website is christinecribb.com. My next book will be announced on there. It's called Mind Your Own Business.
Okay.
And it's really for entrepreneurs that are trying to do a startup. You know, the people that say, I make a great lasagna, so I'm going to open an Italian restaurant. So it's really a great guide for directors and presidents of chambers to guide entrepreneurs in the right direction. When you don't know what you don't know, you better find someone that does know, right? So that is one book. And then I'm going to write a book called Lipstick and Laugh Lines. And it's about women that reinvented themselves after the age of 50. So if anyone has a great story of a woman who reinvented herself after 50 years old, it could end up in my book. And so if you think of the old Chicken Soup for the Soul, I don't
Yeah.
think you're old enough, Brandon, to
Yeah.
remember that, are you?
Well, that's a
So
great
if you remember,
compliment, but yes, I do remember it.
okay. So Chicken Soup for the Soul, it will be that kind of stories. There'll be small stories in there of women who reinvented themselves out of inspiration. So I got the bug to write books. And so now I've got a couple more coming down the pike. But ChristineCribb.com will get you to my website. Facebook will very easily message me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. It's really fun to watch what's happened with the book. We had 60 people come to the book launch at the chamber here in Shelby, and I was overwhelmed. It was so humbling and exciting. Yes.
That's fun. That is really cool. Well, congratulations to you on getting your first book out
Thank you.
there. We look forward to getting our hands on it, but also the future books that are coming out as well. And we'll make sure to connect all your shout outs, your Facebook and website and Amazon and everything in our show notes. So it'll be easy for listeners to
Thank you.
connect and find the book and follow your journey. So this has been great.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
You
Brandon,
bet.
thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
If you are a chamber professional, be sure to subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast on your favorite podcast app or now on YouTube so you never miss a new episode. New episodes are released each week and delivered right to you. If you're finding value in the podcast, please take a moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. It really helps others discover the show. And most importantly, share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues in the industry so we can continue to grow and strengthen the chamber community together.
This episode is brought to you by Riverside. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast for your chamber or your business, one of the biggest challenges is recording high-quality audio and video, especially when you and your guest aren't in the same room. Riverside is the platform I use to record every episode of the show. It gives you studio-quality audio and video right from your browser, automatically backs up your files, and even creates clips you can use on social media. It's designed to make podcasting simple and professional without the headaches. If you're ready to launch your podcast or upgrade your recordings, head over to chamberchatpodcast.com/riverside to get started today. Again, that's chamberchatpodcast.com/riverside, the same tool I trust to bring you these conversations every week.